Hello, all. Got a special episode for you today. It comes from the backyard of my parents' house. I'm 27 as of January 22nd, and I don't know. I've been blessed. I got a good family life. I got some good parents. I haven't had any complaints about all that. The only major complaint I have is when I bring them big ideas like I usually have. They usually just laugh them off or don't even go. They don't engage with them. They don't do what I want them to do, which is, let's logically think about this and decide if this makes any sense. They just go, ha, that's funny, bye. And so I get kind of annoyed because I'm like, this is the most valuable thing I have. This is the one thing I find more valuable than anything else is having good ideas. And y'all don't even give anything. Y'all don't care. You don't care. So there you go. There's my gripes, everyone. You want to know? There you now you know. Nothing's perfect. You could have both your parents, they could be mostly pretty wealthy, put you through private school, all this other BS, and still not be satisfied. That's just another sentiment for like, doesn't matter how much money you have, it's never gonna be perfect. Money doesn't make you happy, right? Being valued makes me happy. I think when I can offer an idea to somebody that inspires them or sets them free from a way of thinking that brought them misery, I just power to it. This is my favorite thing to do. Give people good ideas so that it might start them on a journey of new discovery. Be living by the airport right now. So I don't know what I need to talk about today. I'm good at talking about a lot of stuff and saying some actual things during that conversation too. I'm not like one of those people that could talk for hours and say basically nothing. At least I hope not. I guess you all could be the judge of that. Although I shouldn't empower you to do such. But I will because I understand that listening to others and what they may have to say could have a little bit of value in it in improving my game, improving what I say. Be open to criticism. You are not your ideas. My favorite people on YouTube says, you are not your ideas. And wow, isn't that a freeing concept? Those ideas that you think are right or whatever somebody told you some time ago about this or that, you didn't actually come up with that idea. You just listened to it from somebody you think is an authority figure on something, and you just trust that it's true. And with that understanding in mind, can you understand how then you're not your ideas? You don't have to get upset when someone says something about your idea is wrong. You don't need to be upset about it, everybody. If your idea is wrong, it's good that you know it's wrong. Or at least not true enough. Because we'll never fully get the entire truth, right? But we can get close enough to the truth. We can honor the truth to get it to where it's true enough. True enough for everyone involved and for the practicality of acting out on this truth, okay? Truth is important. Wise people seek the truth because with the truth comes authenticity of the situation, authenticity of your thoughts. And authenticity is just, that's some good sauce. Oh look, we got an iguana in the yard here. Turn this around. Can I even turn this around? Oh no, I don't think I can. Well, I'd have to turn my whole phone around. I don't think my front's camera is gonna even see it. There's a little guy over there. Maybe you can see him. He's like right up in there. sticking his head up. Little iguan. Iguan man. That iguan. I mean iguana. We all know. But iguan sounds better. Sounds tribally. um, my dad's finally retiring from his job. Big moves, big steps. He told me he was worried about it. He's like, I don't know how I feel about this. They got their new mountain house they're gonna go move to. They're going to live in the mountains now. I mean, he told me he's afraid. He doesn't know what to do. I told him flat out, like what I do usually when I'm worried about something like that. I just eat a handful of psilocybin mushrooms and go find a quiet place in the woods somewhere, or someplace off a trail so that nobody's bothering me and don't hear me. And I just basically roll in the dirt and wail about it for a little bit, and then sit up and breathe and try and meditate on how can I make this, how can I make it through this, how can I make it through this, what do I gotta do. And sure enough, I make a ton of progress. I make a ton of progress on that feeling. See, the first step to actually becoming somebody, to being a fully realized being, is having sovereignty over your choices and decisions you make. I mean, nobody's ever going to have full sovereignty over themselves. There are rituals you can do that can help you improve that, like base jumping would be one of those. That's freaking, you'd have to do that a few times before you could get really comfortable with it. And it doesn't matter how reckless you might be. Jumping off a cliff with just a parachute on it's pretty hair raising. I mean, to anybody who, let's be honest. But being able to appreciate that fear, feel that fear, but still act out what it is you need to do to fulfill your desires or whatever it might be. Go and do the thing with the fear being present, and to be successful with doing that thing even though you're afraid. One of my favorite activities is I go to a park. There's a couple parks that I go to. You're not supposed to go to the park at night, but whatever. I'm not going to tell you which one, so you're not going to be able to figure out what I'm doing here. Doesn't matter. But just go to a park with that's got naturey woods and stuff like that, and go there super late at night. I mean, bring a flashlight or whatever you think you need, but the goal is just get in there in the dark, let your imagination run wild, come up with all the spooky things, the zombies hiding behind the bushes, the paramilitary group around the corner waiting to ambush you, the spooky alien spirit that's chasing you from behind, the zombified dogs that are doing this or that, whatever it might be. Whatever craziness your imagination comes up with, you just sit there with it and you imagine it all around you. It's hair-raising, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's definitely supposed to spook you, but you're just in a park that you've been in a whole bunch of times before, and really, so what's the actual worst that could happen? A raccoon comes out, or a possum comes out of the woods, and it's oh my goodness, there's a human here. I'm gonna go run away now. Most common thing you run into in the middle of the night in the woods is a possum. So, I'm just saying, if that's the reality, and your imagination is making up, paramilitary people, whoa, what's going on? And that's when I realized it's sometimes my imagination is getting the better of me. It's taking a hold of me, and then I realized the truth being I'm probably not going to run into anything out here that's scary or frightening in actuality whatsoever. It's just not going to be like that. And suddenly I feel the entire environment, the whole darkness, the woods, all the little crickets and stuff like that, it feels like a warm blanket. I feel like I'm wrapping myself up in nature, and I feel like I belong there. It feels like home. It really, like, it starts to change temperature, like from being spooky, scary, what's that noise in the bush over there, to being like just enamored, like listening to the music of the crickets and just like being at total peace with being in the dark, being completely alone in the dark in the woods. Which, I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying y'all should try this, because maybe you do have danger. You have some woods around you where you can't get away with something like that. I don't know. But to me, it's very relieving. Oddly enough, I don't feel so. It's like I'm less stressed out. Like, I realize how stressed I've been because my imagination is going wild when I first go in there, and then after a little bit and I like work it out of me, I realize, like, oh my goodness, this is my center. This is my power place. This is my my little worshiping of the void. Like, I'm not filled with all that anxiety or fear. I'm just filled with awareness of all the things happening around me. And I'm at peace with all these things happening around me. It's a really great feeling, guys. I'm just saying. How do you ever get complete control over your body? Like, how do you have complete sovereignty over your actions and your thoughts? You never really do, I don't think, but like, you can try. You can, cause he keeps trying for it and striving for it and practicing for it. I used to be like, when I was younger, I used to just, like, I would have responsibilities that I needed to do for me that were important that I do. But every time someone would say, like, hey, yo, Ryan, you want to hang out? Let's go hang out, man. I like, didn't matter how important whatever it is I had to do was. I left and I hung out with them and I did that, whatever that was. And for a long time, I resented that. Didn't want to be like that. I just wanted to do my homework, because I don't know, after the end of the semester and I got bad grades, I was like, gosh, why didn't I just do the homework? And obviously, any of you, if you're a student, you'll figure out whether or not it's worth doing that homework. But my point in saying all that is that don't put too much pressure on yourself to be something or be one way or another. It's only when you find your center that you can really act with any authenticity. And acting in authenticity is always going to be good for you. It'll never do you wrong. As long as you, I mean, of course there are scenarios where, like, being truthful about something might put you in some serious doo-doo, but, like, when it comes to, like, people you care about, never lie to them. Don't ever steal from them. That's living authentically. You negotiated everything, every deal or trade between these people, you negotiated with them. You made them aware of it, you engaged with their awareness, with your awareness, and you came to an agreement. And an agreement is, that's a sauce that I feel like this planet wants some more of right now. I personally want more agreement. I want more agreement between my observations of reality and the actions of the corporations or like any of the hierarchies that are around me. See, this is the major problem I have. Okay, we're gonna get real pithy. It's gonna bring back with that topic I had with my parents. I like having ideas that I come up with or that I have found in nature and that I think are worthy ideas, because they seem to include all the prerequisites for me to thinking that they're true. So when I bring home an idea that I think is really true and super, super pithy and, like, radically changes a lot of people's views, but not in a way that like because I challenge my parents' religion stuff sometimes, and I never say something like, well, Jesus is actually the devil or something like that. Like, it's never something like that. It's more along, it's just any tertiary thing, any of the main tenets. Like, I think the Jesus character is a all-loving being, just loving awareness embodied in a human being. Just pure loving awareness in a being. That is like the Jesus character, and my thoughts on that have not changed. It's just that the meanings behind it, the whole like, did Jesus wish we create a church or not? Like, all of that is under question, I think, and for good reason. But I don't know if we have time to go into that because I don't want to go too long with this video. The point is, they just defer to hierarchies of knowledge. I mean, I technically do too, but like, I defer to them under my own name and title. Like, I think that this is this because I see this and this and this. And I'm not saying that these observations of mine are original. I didn't necessarily come up with any of them. I've found them through other people, but none of them have an organization behind them necessarily that teach these things. And I find that to be really pithy to the spiritual adventure, because most any religious or monistic religion has to do with your relationship to higher awareness. And I mean, my parents in some way are deferring their wisdom and knowledge off from a higher awareness, which would be like the U.S. government or the hospital industry or whatever, medical industry. That's their God in a way, and that's who they speak for in a lot of ways. And a lot of their knowledge and a lot of their actions are mediated by what this hierarchy believes in. Yet I mean, I'm not saying I'm completely devoid of that thing, but I am so powerfully aware of how dangerous that is, because of the fact that most hierarchies don't really care about the people who act out their will necessarily. I mean, they treat CEOs pretty well, but like the peons, the little workers in the factories, they don't treat very well. And I mean, how can you when you're a giant corporation? You're horribly inefficient the way you are. But whatever. Like there's no honoring the little ones in an industry really very well. And I think that's a huge flaw in the way our hierarchical systems work in this country, or basically anywhere in the world at this point. It's just the major drawback to having a hierarchy in the first place, which is why I'm not saying, yes, I am saying I'm with Noam Chomsky when it comes to like anarchism. I really believe that's the way. And no, it's not barbarism. That's the first thing anyone thinks of when someone says anarchy, is they think of barbarism, which is a bunch of stuff burning and window smashing like a riot. Incorrect terminology. Barbarism is barbarism. I don't advocate barbarism. Anarchism is much better. Like, listen. Here's a simple truth you can't even deny. You can't go to war if you don't have a nation. Without a hierarchy titled a nation, it's pretty hard to go to war. I don't know of any wars that have been started by groups of people that aren't affiliated with some sort of nation state or some sort of hierarchy of any kind whatsoever. Like, hierarchy makes possible the entire event or act of war. And I'm personally not necessarily for or against war. I'm sure it has its place. But just for any of you out there thinking about this, oh, really? We need the government. Just know, everything you do comes with two edges. A government can help protect you, but it can also help extort you. It's just how it works. They have a monopoly on violence. What do you want? Only they can shoot somebody in the streets and it be perfectly legal. I mean, other than if you pull the self-defense thing, but like certain states, it's all really wonky right now. Only the government's really allowed to get away with just killing people outright and it being okay. And that's why they have the U.S. Army, which is basically just a group of people who go out and kill other people in other places. Not always. I mean, there's other aspects of the military. I would never want to diss you, military. I was thinking about joining you at this point. I wanted to be a soldier from like first grade. I have my little time capsule I opened up from my school, and that's literally what it said on there. I want to be a soldier. So like I've definitely been there and in that thought or mind state, but like I'm not trying to like give up my life to something I don't really believe in just yet, and I don't know what I believe in just yet. So because I'm still growing and trying to understand that, which is tragic. Why do we teach kids religion when they really don't have any capacity to understand that? We should teach them like simpler things, like how to be nice, how to be a nice person, how to know if somebody likes you, how to, like, if you want a relationship, how to have a relationship with somebody, how to respect other people. Like, I mean, these are all parts of religion, but like a lot of the stuff like Genesis and all that stuff like that is so fraught with like symbology and metaphor that like no child's mind would ever get it unless you sat down and explained every single metaphor inside of it to them. That's as good as indoctrination. Can't know. You're not old enough to know. It's like why we don't let little kids have intercourse with each other, because they don't know the implications of what they're doing entirely. They just don't. You're young. You're young like that. You can't. I'm sure. I mean, it still happens somewhere, and it happens to people like that. But like, and that's certainly a way to figure it out. You'll learn eventually, I suppose, but only if you really follow the tenets of trying to find truth or virtue out of a situation. Whatever. That's a weird conversation. I guess we don't really need to talk about. But yeah. Excuse me, guys. That was gross. I'm gonna call it here. This video's been long enough. 22 minutes.